So we have today another, I want to say, idol, but another mentor and somebody who really basically helped change my life within the last year, with being with that he has the most efficient mace equipment and by far the most efficient adjustable equipment at that. I'll let him introduce himself a little bit, talk about himself a little bit more, but I'm pretty sure if you've seen the first interview, you already know who I'm talking about, but you can go ahead.
Hey, everybody. My name's Donnie. My name's Don Giaffredino. I am the founder and developer of the Adex adjustable clubs and maces.
And how long have you been in business now?
It's going to be 8 years this year.
8 years. And
Yep.
Was it always this success that you have now?
No. No. I didn't have any success till about 2000, end of 2019. It started picking up a little bit for me. And that's when it really caught on. I started the business in 2014, officially. My product design was done in 2010. I originally started with maces and clubs in 2007.
And what really introduced you to the I know you told me this before, but what brought you to clubs, like the club lifestyle?
I had an injured shoulder. I stretched the ligament on my acromioclavicular joint. That's the point where your shoulder blade meets your collarbone. Your scapula meets your clavicle right here. And it comes together like a point, almost like if you're familiar with cars, like an A-frame, it's in the front steering section. It's where the ball joint hangs out of. So basically your shoulder's in a ball joint setup. And that ligament got stretched out. When people have a separated shoulder, that ligament pops apart there. I just stretched it out. It got stretched so far that it didn't really go back. And it was pinching my bicipital tendon and one of the nerve. I can't remember if it was my ulnar nerve or the radial, but it was one of the nerves that ran down my arm, went into my pinky. So it's probably the ulnar. And it used to feel constantly inflamed, and I couldn't do anything to alleviate it. The only thing that doctors were telling me I had to do was get a screw put in it. But if you know people that have screws in their shoulders, they're kind of like this, they can't raise that other arm up, all the way. And I didn't want to be debilitated in my mid-30s. So I kind of let it go. And one doctor gave me hope. He says, you might be able to fix it with therapy. So what happened was I kind of got out of fitness for, I want to say about 10 years. I tried to do everything in there. I could not get in a plank position to do a push-up, a bench press. I couldn't press overhead. I couldn't do anything basically with a load on me like that. Jogging, just the bouncing up and down would annoy my arm. And get this, at that time, I was a pizza man. So you're
always on the run.
I'm always doing this. So my shoulder's always going. So I was kind of just irritating my shoulder all day long. So 2007, I came across a video. I typed in alternative shoulder exercises on the search engine Ask Jeeves. And that's how old it was, the butler guy with the little tray. It was before Google. And came up with Scott Sonnen, the inventor of the club bell system and TacFit, came up with him, and he's doing a mill. And I looked at that and I was like, oh man, that's the thing I need to do. So I looked around the house, I grabbed a baseball bat. I couldn't afford his clubs at the time. I was making no money. I was just living in a bad state, financially. But I ended up grabbing a dumbbell. I finally figured out, there's a dumbbell in the garage with a bolt on the end, on each end, and you could change the weights on them. So I put a 3-pound weight on it, and I just did one side, and I was doing the mill as best as I could. I was probably doing something like this, not even
flailing out your elbow, not tucking it in.
Yeah. So I was moving it around with this little bit of weight on it, and I do 100 reps every night. And at the end of 3 months, I figured, all right, give it a shot, like for 3 months. If it works, it works. If it didn't, I'm just back to where I was for the past 10 years of doing nothing. And I was able to get down to the floor and do 11 push-ups. And I was so happy that I was able to do that. And, that I don't get that feeling in my shoulder anymore. I don't know if I just got lucky or whatever, by just doing that. I kind of had I have a very small understanding of anatomy and physiology. I did take schooling for A&P as a massage to learn to be a massage therapist. So I've got some A&P, and I kind of understand a little bit of the rehabilitative process and, what physical therapists would do. So I tried as best as I could with the limited resources, money at that time that I had, no insurance. And I ended up basically repairing my shoulder. And I was like, why doesn't everybody have one of these things? And then from there, it led me to make a club that the weight could change on without using weight plates, because they just didn't dissipate the weight properly, for a club, because everything is condensed. I did try making the initial clubs out of T-ball bats, and I made them at your cousin's shop. And I made a few of them, like 4 of them, to try out. They worked, but they just didn't feel like training with a club. They didn't have the proper club feel. So finally in 2010, I sketched one when I was bored one day at work, and I ended up making one. And it's funny because in 2007, I couldn't afford to buy one, the extra $100, maybe $120 it would have been for me to buy one and have it sent to me, like $90, $30 shipping or something like that, a 20 pounder or a 15 pounder. Didn't have the money to spend on that. But 3 years later, I paid $1,000 to have a prototype. I paid $989 to have the prototype made, because that had all be turned by hand. And it was from my drawings, not like a blueprinted drawing. And, it was probably the best investment I ever made. So, as far as that,
I would say so. Being I have, that bad boy now behind me, so here you are. What now from there? What was that? Right before the official break of Adex, or was that like the official moment that you knew that like this was going to be a thing? Like you're going to go into business with this?
Yeah, I kind of did it, and then I said, well, let me test it for a year. I said, I gotta just do this thing for a year and learn how to do this. Now, granted, when I was training with this in my backyard and I was out there in the rain and the heat, and Florida, the part of Florida I live in gets cold sometimes too. It's actually 30 degrees some days. And I'm out there training away in the backyard, like doing all this, after work. And I was like, I knew I was onto something, but I didn't know what it was. Was it the training? Was it the modality itself? Was it the type of training I was doing? Or was it, was it the product? And then I really didn't design it to sell it myself. I kind of wanted someone else to pick up, the whole sales part of it. Be like, hey, here's a design. Can you guys do something with it? Just give me a few bucks for the patent on it, or the idea. It wasn't patented yet at that time. Just give me a few bucks for the idea. And nobody was interested in it. And people were telling me that it was going to fall apart and, all this other stuff. And I'm like, wait, this thing's solid. This is a solid piece of gear. So I kind of just plugged along with it. And then I think around, so that happened. That was in 2010, the design of it. 2011 was when I got it made. Then it really kicked in. And the reason why I got it made is because I had gotten arrested in 2011. And it was in January of 2011. I had a really good job working at that time for a cell phone tower company. I had gotten out of the restaurant business around 2006, started working for a crane company, learned how to run cranes, became a senior operator, got laid off by the crane company, went to work for a buddy of mine just to fill in, just to make money working at his restaurant. met a guy that was at a cell phone tower company, said, we need a crane operator. You know, I went over and worked for him. I got the DUI. I had gotten a DUI while I was working for that company. And I got arrested. And when I was in the back of the cop car, I took the arrest. I didn't, for anybody watching, take the arrest on a DUI. Do not blow in the breathalyzer. Do not do any of the goofy circus tests they tell you to do, you know, like the circus tricks. Do not do that. Just take the arrest. You'll come out cheaper in the long run. Trust me on this one. I'm sounding like a lawyer right now. I'm better call Saul, you know, but you know, like when I was in the back of the cop car, the cop actually asked me, I was like, oh my God, what do I got to do here? Like, well, I got to get a, you know, like I'm going down the checklist, what I got to do, because I really wasn't drunk. So the cop said to me, he looked in the rearview mirror and he goes, why do you look so mad? And I said, I'm not mad. I said, I'm just playing my next hand. I said, I got to figure out what I'm going to do to get out of this problem and to make sure I never get into this problem again. Because I was thinking to myself, yeah, I'm a working class guy. You know, I drive a pickup truck. You know, I'm out for a couple beers in my work clothes after work, and I get pinched doing this, you know, stupid thing, just driving home. And, you know, I was thinking, you know, well, maybe if I was a little more of a man of means, I might not get in trouble. Maybe they would have let me call a cab. You know what I mean? But it's like, I got this douchebag. So, you know, like I had that kind of feeling, you know, and so, I decided in the car that in the back of the cop car in handcuffs that I was going to pursue my business because, you know, you never know how life's going to be. You know, one day I'm at work and you know, I've got a $70,000 a year job and I'm doing good and I'm held in high regard at the company that I'm working for. And then all of a sudden I'm in the back of the cop car and life just changed for me because I am going to get fired. You know, they're not going to want me working for them because they're going to deem me irresponsible, whether I was found guilty or not guilty. It did take 2 years to find me not guilty of this, though, constantly going to court and everything. And I did use a public defender, by the way. So, you know, that, you know, my persistence in staying on top of the case, you know, what I had to do on my end to stay on top of the case. I just didn't say, oh, public defender, handle it. I knew they weren't going to do it because they're free. So, you know, yeah. I decided then and there that I was going to go forward with my business. And it just took me a couple of years to get the money together, to be able to take, you know, to manufacture a batch of the clubs, to get them made, to find someone to do it, and to be able to have a little bit of cushion money to be able to get out, you know, from my job and try for 6 to 8 months of, you know, pushing my product to see how it would go. So, you know, it was kind of like, you know, like it was a life awakening thing for me. And I had sworn to myself that I was never going in business again for myself. You know, I've been in business for myself for half of my life. And, you know, sometimes I made money. Most of the time I didn't. I was taking chances. So I was like, I'm never going to business again. I'm going to work for this, you know, this job, and I'm going to retire from it. And I'm going to retire from it, you know, with a solid retirement, because crane operator, you know, I was getting paid really good money. Yeah. So, you know, I was, and I had a great skill. And if I got laid off, I could get a job somewhere else, you know, and it worked. I had a trade. But when I got pinched, when I got popped for, I shouldn't say pinched, I got popped for that. When I got popped for that, that was a, you know, like a little bit of an awakening thing. Yeah. You know, like take the chance, you know, you don't know what your life is going to be tomorrow. Take that chance that you were thinking about. So I said, so now look at you. Well, yeah, kind of, sort of. I'm still not where I'd like to be, but you know, it's all part of growing the company, and it's been fun doing for every pain in the neck moment that I had. I'm thankful I had it. You know, the days that I like took stuff and whipped it at the wall, or like pounded my fist on the desk, or like, you know, hung up a phone, you know, with a phone with somebody and said, yes, I just sold this guy, you know, a pallet full of gear. And, you know, like, and not only that, but I'm going to load it in a rented van and drive it up to him, you know, like stuff like that is cool as heck. You know, like you get to do things like that. And, it's, like the ups and downs are fantastic. And just to have your own concept come to life and people use it and say thanks for it, or this is a great idea, or I like the quality of this. They give you all the positives. It's so cool. It really is.
There's a lot of positives behind it. Not for nothing, not that many pieces of equipment when you pick it up and when it's at max weight. For example, when my mace is fully maxed out with the additional add-on kit, when it's at that 50-pound mark, people pick that up. They're like, "There's no way that's 50 pounds." It's like, let's go to a scale real quick. Go to a scale. They show us 50 pounds. And it's like the steel. It's like, how does it hold it up like that? It's like, it's quality steel, and it's not going to come unhinged in the middle of my swings. If you have it fastened properly, it's not going to come undone. And I've had my club for a year. It's taken a hell of a beating, and it's still fully 100%, good to go. It's been in the back of my car. Sometimes it'll roll around and I hear a ding or everything and all that stuff. And I see that some of the paint starting to come off from the grip, basically being too tight sometimes, or going using chalk. Like it looks like it's been to war, but at the same time, it still works very well. Like there's nothing wrong with the club. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with any of the pieces of equipment after taking some beatings as well.
I just enjoy, like I can't, like sometimes I look at it and I go, I really made that, I'm like,
yeah, I mean, you really,
it's goofy, it's goofy in a way. Yeah. If you think about it.
Not for nothing. It's people, the one question I get a lot when I'm swinging these bad boys around is, how does it not get undone? And when you put up that one video not that long ago of you explaining that how much pressure, this piece here can handle,
yeah.
Yeah, they're and then they pick up my mace. How does it not snap? Because it's made of quality products. Like, this is the reason why it's made of it's made of quality. Like, it's a quality metal, it's a quality steel, and it's handcrafted here in America. It's not made cheaply.
Yeah, it is done at a place that does aircraft parts. So they're making parts for they do a lot of parts for one of the French jet manufacturers. And I mean, the machine shop is stellar. They really go above and beyond to do the work, properly. I get to work with them, closely with them, to help them save time, which ultimately increases production. We've tweaked and changed things, throughout, the whole system. I think we're on so if you want to say like the club is on version, it's like 2.7 right now. Look at all the little tweaks that we've made along the way, including the texture on the grip has changed. We've really got that down, beautifully, finally. I mean, to where people really liked it, and that they're really enjoying it now, what we're coming out with. It's just a continual growing process. Basically, it's like, how like every year a car model changes. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to constantly put thought into my product so that I don't get left behind, so that I'm addressing most of the concerns of the people when they ask me questions. Or can you make this, Donnie? Can you make this? Can you do that? Can this be done like this? Can you put knurling? Can you put this? And I personally don't like knurling. I found out that like it because.
Now, what is knurling?
Knurling's actually the grooves that are cut in the metal, like on a regular barbell, how that's got like those little diamond points on it, and then like some of them are just barely scratched on, and then other ones are like, it's like they're jabbing into your hands, they're sharp. Mm-hmm. So people ask me, like, if we cut knurling into it. The problem is that these clubs are coated with an industrial coating right now, and the coating is thick enough to just bury the knurling. So it would make no sense to do that. We can texture the coating. And so, it can go on smooth as glass, or it can go on like with like a wrinkle finish built right into it. And so we've been doing the wrinkle finish because you know, number one, it's economic because we're doing mass production here. You know, I make like when I make a batch of clubs, I'm making like somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,500 to 3,000.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so that takes like 8 months to produce these. Like that's how they come out, you know, so, you know, because the machine shop is also running other projects.
So I see why when you sell out, like it takes a while to restock everything in stock.
Yeah, but now we've got like the numbers, so we realize, you know, like we're almost at like a plateau phase. We've gone up exponentially, and now we're leveling off. So now I can just put in a, you know, like I don't have to like calculate, you know, like, well, we've increased the X amount of sales, so we have to, you know, keep that growth going. Now I can just order, and I know when to order to replenish stock. So this is it's kind of like interesting. There's like all this economic science to it, along with the mechanical science. And now you like to talk about entrepreneurship a lot. And here's what like I'm amazed at is that everything I've learned to do in my life, and I've had 43 jobs, plus I went to school. I went to college for like 5 weeks. And I went to massage therapy school, but, you know, I just went to high school. So I'm a high school grad, you know, with a little bit of training. Everything that I learned, like that I wanted to learn in school, like I took drafting for 5 years between junior high school and high school. So I knew how to do a mechanical drawing to be able to provide a blueprint for this. Like just learning how to talk across the counter at a pizzeria with people was like another thing too. So like people always
that's customer service, and a lot of people don't understand that. That's like actually pretty crucial that you have to have in order for you to even succeed in business. You have to have some type of a customer service background, so that this way you know how to handle people when they're at their worst, especially when they're yelling and screaming and saying, "What the hell is going on with this?" And it's like that. Just being able to calm them down and then basically help them out.
Yeah, and not only that, you have to be able to sell without selling. And you know that's an important thing. You don't want to be like blatant, like this is all I do is sell my clubs. You know, I don't want to talk that way. I want to sell the modality. Look, I tell people all the time, listen, if you're not using my gear, use someone else's gear. Use a baseball bat, use a one-sided dumbbell, use a block of wood you got in the garage. I don't care. A broom. I don't know. I did a video with teaching people how to swing a mace using a broom during the COVID thing. You know, because people were going stir crazy. I'm like, here, you know, like just take a broom and just try it, see if you like it, you know, and practice doing it. Yeah, and people were telling me, oh, dude, people would order a mace from me, and then they'd call the next day and say, hey, just want to tell you, I saw your video about swinging a mace with a broom, and you know, learn how to swing a mace by using a broom. I ordered that mace from you because I did it all last week. And I'm like, no way, you know, like it actually. Like people like were appreciative of that, and they were like, you know, like this is pretty cool, you know. So I was getting a couple of orders in from, you know, just stuff like that. So it also gives you like that gave me like the showman, you know, like I have to be a little bit of a showman because nowadays you have to make your own commercials. Every post I make on social media is basically an advertisement, you know, for all the people that are listening about business. You know, you constantly got to talk. Then I have to show a little bit of like what I do, you know, old man at your age, what are you doing that you stay in shape, you know? And I could still get into a sports car, and I crouch down and get into my car and take off, you know, like stuff like that, you know?
I mean, you also cleaned a 100-pound club not that long ago. And I mean, not for nothing, trying to even pick up the club when it's at maxed out at 50 is challenging. So if anything, that made me appreciate that video a little bit more once the add-on kit came over here and I was able to get that 50 the club up here. No, that was very humbling to see. Like, all right, I don't know how the hell you're gonna pick up 100 pounds in that short space.
Do you like that add-on kit?
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it.
And you've seen the older ones that get the rhino stickers on them?
Yeah.
Yeah, people were calling it the rhino. It looked like a rhino horn. And so I had another one made that goes over that. So it's going to bring the mace up to like 80 pounds. God.
I can't imagine. I just got 50. I just got 50 pounds down. I can't imagine 80 freaking pounds.
There's 3 of them in the world right now that are being tested. I'm not strong enough to swing that like on a regular basis. So weightlifting doc has one. Brad Hutchins.
Shout out to Tony.
Yeah, Tony Lamana, weightlifting doc. He's awesome. He tests a lot of my gear. Brad Hutchins has one who's just a beast. I don't know if you guys, he's the president of the Mace Competition League, the AMCCA. Yes. And Rob Lewis, who does he's a BJJ guy out in California. He's got one because he could swing some big weight. So they've got the original prototypes, which is just like it's not split like the add-on kit is now to be able to jackass around. It's just like, look, load this thing up. You guys try it out for a year. Tell me if you bend the mace handles. That's all I want to know. Even if the mace fell, even if it was standing up by itself and somebody knocked it over, just let me know if the handles are bended, because that's the thing that I was concerned about. Or if if there was any problem with the welds, being that it was that heavy on the end of I'm sure there wouldn't be, but just to give me peace of mind, so that might be available by the end of the year now, and that's going to be made the same way as the add-on kit. So it slides. It's an add-on kit to slide over the add-on kit, and those guys made a joke about it, and they're calling it the Master Don. Yeah, which is kind of funny, like a play on me, right? So
that's perfect. I would love that. I love the name and I love the product. To even think, I can't imagine swinging 80 fucking pounds around, like just the 50 pounds. The few times where I've gotten it around, like now I got it to the point where I can get 12 each rep now. I get 12 each side, and then take a 2 minute rest, then go back for another 12. And then I do that for 10 to 12 rounds. Or if I, mess up like I did the second time I did that, which was as I was coming around, I started losing that grip and it came up and then got me right in my shin. So that felt pretty damn good. I'm not gonna lie. But other than that, I really can say that, one, I'm also burning the most calories I've ever burned my entire life working out. When I'm using that kit and I'm using just strictly heavy, I'm going nothing but heavy that day. Well, and then aside from the cool down, minimum I burn about 1,300 calories, minimum, and that's in 1 hour. That's 1 hour, 1,300 calories.
How do you measure that?
So I have my watch here, and I don't believe it's 100% accurate to a T, but I do believe it's accurate for the most part on tracking how many calories that I'm burning throughout my workout. So what I set it to is strength train. I set it to strength training, and then it counts basically my heart rate for strength training, because at the end of the day, if I'm going heavy, yeah, that's what we're working on. We're working on strength, and we're working on building some strong ass arms, strong ass shoulders, and a very, very strong core. So, and what I used to think was heavy when it was the arc being maxed out. Now when I have the kit, it's just a whole different, like I was burning anywhere between 500 to 800 before. Now I'm burning way over 1,000 every single workout. But minimum I burn is 1,300. Oh yeah, because I put the work in too. I don't take much rest in between each set. Like for the most part, I'm doing anywhere between, unless I'm preparing for a video, unless I'm setting up my phone to get ready to record for another workout, I'm right back into the next one. Like my rest period is interchanging the weights or interchanging the grips. That's my rest period. As soon as I get that weight clanked and as soon as that's fully tightened and fastened, I'm back on the grind again. If I take a sip of water, it's a quick sip of water, and that's it. I don't chug water. I don't sit there bullshit on my phone, unless, like I said, I'm looking over my form. If I'm recording, more than likely, before I post the stuff, I'm recording it from my own form. And if I see that the form is good enough for me to post, I'll be posting it. I post it up, obviously. Or even if I'm completely failing multiple times throughout that day, I'll post that also, and then finally post my achievement, just to show people that no, this shit ain't easy. That it's you have to be consistent with it. You have to put the work in, and you have to really understand that there's a certain technique when it comes down to these clubs and when it comes down to mace swinging, especially. So once you fully get that technique down and you're able to control the weight, you understand why you're able to burn 1,300 calories within the hour.
Yeah, so you're taking like, so if you're doing you're basically talking two-handed work. So when you're swapping sides, that's your rest time, because you are, so like when I do one-handed work, So if I do an exercise on this side, let's just say I'm doing side strikes, you know, and I'm doing side strikes, right? Then I swap over to the other hand. So now I'm getting that, you know, 30, 40, 50-second, maybe a minute rest because I'm on this side. And then I swap it back over because I'm like, all right, it's time to like squeeze this lat out again, you know, and doing it like that. But you're doing big two-handed work, and you're just changing your grip and going the other way. That's your rest.
Yeah, that, or if I'm interchanging the grip, like if I'm unscrewing, like for example, when I have the kit fully maxed out, the only thing I really change is then the handle. I then put the handle on top, whether if I'm using the arc or if I'm using the club or if I'm using the mace. What I do is, since I have a pretty decent amount of weights, and excuse me, what I'll do is I'll have each piece already weighed out to the point of what I want to weigh it out to. And now it's just changing out the handles, and I have each, you know, model in front of me working on that. The only thing that I really haven't gotten a chance to work on is two-handed work, just because doing I've gotten close to using the arc and using the club, but it's not the same as using two of the same thing, but it's a different workout also. Like that's the other thing that people don't understand. Like you can, like, just doing a single club is pretty awesome. But it's shout out to Tony, who makes it look beyond easy when it comes down to the two-handed, or when it comes down to two dual clubs,
double arcs or double clubs,
or even double maces. Like the man is like me and Josh Quincy, shout out to Grappling Type 1. We were talking about Tony during our episode, and he was also explaining how difficult it is, and to really do half the stuff he does. So the marathon training that he does with the clubs, the marathon training that he does with kettlebells. Me just getting into this lifestyle for now, it's settling in for a year. Like I've done my year of learning, and now I've got my form basically damn near perfect for most things. Yeah. I'm still learning on a lot, but it wasn't always that way in the beginning. The beginning it was very trash, but now I've gotten so much better, and I'm very thankful to be where I'm at. But then there's another level. Then there's Tony. Like there's good at what you do, and then there's Tony, who just makes it look so effortlessly. Like when he does the two-handed mace, it's mind-boggling. And it's also, if I get invested, like it makes you think, you get invested with this type of workout, and I'm already burning 1,300 calories with one. Eventually you get good enough to do two. I can only imagine how much more you're going to be, one, building your muscle, but at the same time, you're also burning a shit ton of fat.
The skill required to do the two-handed stuff. A lot of people, they focus. See, this is where this comes in good, because I coach classes every Tuesday and Thursday night. So I'm always working with my students on working with them. I'm working on myself to become a better coach. So I've got, like, you know, this luxury of having classes every Tuesday and Thursday night. And, you know, I get a good, you know, it's a nice group that shows up for it. It's I get between 1 and 13 people, and it's somewhere between, you know, I usually have about 6 per class. I completely
understand. And
there's some nights we have to put up the garage door because it's an old CrossFit box and people are out in the parking lot and everything, you know, but it's freaking awesome, you know. And we got Big Mike and his cousin David in there. If anybody knows those people from our, you know, the videos that we do here at Adex, to seeing Big Mike and David, both of those guys are big guys. Mike is 450 pounds. David's 360 now. He gained a few pounds back, but he's working on it. But, you know, like, these guys are doing this thing, you know, they're showing up for. Big Mike's an L1 Mace Fit coach also. And he is a fantastic coach. But what I was going to say is that the ability to be able to work with people and learn, and then go back and, like, watch Tony doing double arc work. And then I said, well, I've got to do that, you know, and I did a couple double arc videos a few years back. I think 2019, they're still up on the YouTube channel. The hardest part that I didn't learn, and I realized this when I was teaching it in class, when I had people doing empty double arcs, like in class, and they're like, why are you having us do this? I said, because you can't. You can't do it. And that's why you're going to learn how to do it. Mike was getting mad about it. He's like, I don't want to learn it. Like he was getting frustrated. But what we came up with while we were doing this, and if anybody's listening that wants to get involved in double clubs, double mace, double arcs, whatever, right? Double kettlebells too. Everybody worries about the club, the implement that's moving. So if you're doing, let's say, one-handed, 360, and you're going around like this, right? And you're doing, like one-handed halos with your arcs or your maces, whatever you want to call it. Or if you're doing like a 360 and you're dropping, bringing it around, dropping, everybody worries about the hand that's moving. You already know how to do that. What you don't know how to do is keep the other one out of the way and keeping your body balanced. So focus on the one that's not moving and watch how your moving club gets better. It sounds insane, but this is what we deduced from our classes. And, this is how I'm teaching it now. So that anchored hand, the one that's either holding the kettlebell or the club or the mace, think about that hand and where it is and let the other one just do its thing. And watch what happens to, because everybody worries about the one that's moving. They don't worry about the one that's staying still. And that's what screws everything up.
See, now I'm gonna do that tomorrow. Like that, now it's like now you
It's
got me
secret.
That's like I gotta try that tomorrow, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm one of those individuals who, when I tried out, just no weight, nothing on top of it. It's just the club and it's just the arc, because they're also very similar in weight and they're also very close in height, that I wanted to try out to see if I can get both at the same time. It was trying to get. I'm too focused over here with that, and I'm trying to clank it, especially doing the, I got the name of the exact move, but it's when you bring it up this way and then you twirl it around your wrist and then you bring it back out.
Yeah. So you bring them up like this and it's kind of like,
yeah. And
Bill Sorensen's always doing those with his
the little Indian
clubs.
The short Indian clubs, and that's one of the moves I was trying to figure out how can you do it, but also at a missed level height, pretty much impossible. Trying to do it at an arc and a club at the same exact time without clanking it with the weights. There's always going to be a little bit of a clank. But I'm looking forward to really now trying out that method, focusing on the actual weight that's still versus the weight that's actually in motion, because I'm too worried about clanking myself in the head, which I have done before. I'm not in my 1 year of doing this club training. There's only been one time I've done it. But and it wasn't
Concussion?
like no, thank God. Thank God. But I want to say this is like month 2, because I just got hired at the gym. I'm pretty positive this was around either June or July last year. I had brought it up and I didn't bring my head back, and I kept my head still, and then it clanked right here.
Behind you got the ear or behind the ear?
I got the ear and behind the ear. It was like right here. If I was like
that one hurts.
Measure it out. Oh my God. It was like it felt like someone, cracked me. Like it felt like a punch right to the side of the head. And a little bit of blood, not a lot of blood, just a little bit of blood. Unlike when I had a barbell come up and crack me in the chin because it was off balance. That was another story. Same year, the barbell went off balance and came up as I'm taking off the weight and then cracked me in the chin. You can't really see the scar on the camera, but split my chin open. Had to go to the damn City MD right around the corner and get 6 stitches. But yeah, I'm one of those also. It's apparently I thought I was over my klutz phase when I was a kid, but no, it's something that's just stuck with you for the rest of your life apparently. But with that club work, it does hurt when you get hit. When I tell people all the time, when you do get, it's not like when this stuff hits you, it's not empty shells that's hitting you, or it's not like a little slap. No, it's steel moving at pretty fast speed that's hitting you. That's why it's very important to get a technique down.
Yeah, no, you know, it helps, you know, like I believe that like being mindful in it, you can weightlift without thinking about anything that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm totally convinced that I weightlifted enough. You know, I got to points where, you know, like I had big bench, I had a big squat, you know, and my squat, well, I shouldn't say a big squat. I had a big deadlift, a big bench, squat was okay. So like, you know, like weightlifting, you know, I never got the mind body connection with that. I just moved the weight. You know, I was like a horse. I went in, I moved the weight. It was like basically work. I didn't have that. With the clubs, I feel more like, you know, it's something that you think about. It's some, and what's not messed up, but what's like exciting about clubs is that every time, so let's say you get the mill pattern down, right? And you practice with a 10-pound club. Now you go to 12 and a half pounds, it's a totally different mill.
Mm-hmm.
It's now you're getting good with it. So you know, now you get 12 and a half pounds. Now you add another 2.5 pound on there and you're at 15 pounds. And, you know, it's starting to feel good and you're getting that form down. Then you get brave and you say, well, let me throw 22 and a half on. A whole different animal. That's like putting 30 pounds on your bench press. Now you got to figure out how to do it again. Now, all of a sudden, something that was an arm and shoulder exercise becomes, you got body English in it. Now you're putting your ass into it and your feet are moving a little bit. Now you got a whole body movement. And then you have to develop the strength and the pattern to do that. So then you can take out those body parts and isolate it back down. You know, look at the strength I developed now. I used to have to use my whole body to do that. And now I can do it strict without even moving my body. And that's I call it regressive progression. So you go
Say
forward.
That 5 times fast.
Yeah, it's regressive progression. So as you're going forward, you have to revert back to the way that, because you're taking a heavier weight and you have to learn how to move it. It's not a linear movement where you're doing, let's say, an overhead press and all you got to do is go up. You know, the technique is always going to be the same. You know, I'm pressing overhead regardless of the weight. It's always going to be the same. But when you're doing with a mace or a club, you know, when you start getting to a weight that your smaller muscles can't handle, and it might be only 2.5 pounds more or 5 pounds more than what you previously did, now you got to start putting your body into it. And then you got to learn to take your body out of it and get back, you know, do that a few times until you get it down, until you get that pattern, until you get that movement. You feel that weight, and then you get confident enough to isolate it to just your arm and then go up again. You know, you were talking before about using the different products. I've been using my mace as like a cardio workout or a Metcon at the end of my workouts now, because it's so cool. Like I hate running. I really do. You know, like, I mean, it's good to run.
Same.
It's good to run, but
I hate it. I hate it. I will never enjoy it. I don't understand the runner's high. Shout out to Chris, who is a ultra marathon runner, and we had a conversation also. I have no idea how the hell he enjoys running still. After completing what he's completed, I ran the most I've ever run is 9 miles, maybe, if that.
Dude, I think 5 is the most for me ever.
Never again. Well, not. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, I can't say never again because May 21st. Oh no, May 22nd. Yes, May 21st is our DFQ run out over here on Long Island and out in Calverton. It's unfortunate. It's a 10-mile run. 9-mile run, a 9-mile ruck, and then a 4-mile run at the end of it to represent our fallen soldiers for Memorial Day weekend. It's gonna suck. I am not looking forward to that at all whatsoever. Like there's zero motivation in me for doing a 9-mile run, but it's for a good cause, so I will do it for this one only time that I'll ever do this. But
embrace the suck, brother.
Embrace the fucking suck, unfortunately. But the cardio point, that's another the thing I have introduced to my clients a lot, is that when you get good enough with these, if you then your technique is, I'm talking technique is perfect when it comes down to getting the mace behind your head or getting the club behind your head and bringing it over your shoulder, making sure you're not damaging your shoulders and making sure that you're not really, want to say breaking your wrist either with too tight of a grip. But when you finally have that technique down and you're able to then pick up speed with some of the workouts also, like with like a little speed mill at a, you know, a mace at between like 10, like at 10 pounds, my heart races at speeds I only feel when I'm when I did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu ever. Like that's literally the only level of exhaustion I can match it to is when I rolled before. That's it. Other than that, I cannot say, like, I can never felt that feeling like after running, after a treadmill hit circuit, after a session on the stairs. There's no form of cardio because then it just, your core is also engaged as well. So it's not only just the cardiovascular muscles that you're engaging as well, but your core is fully engaged. And then you're also going to feel like, you know, you feel a little slimmer at the end of your workout because you got your core engaged so much that you tightened up that waist, you tightened up your abs. Like it's not just an arm exercise. It's not just shoulders. It's not just, you know, it's literally a total body. It's a core exercise. And it's some of the best work you can ever do for yourself because it's also such an ancient workout that's been neglected for centuries now with us because we've become too lean, I want to say reliant on, to rely on modern like modern equipment. But reality, what's the most common injuries that you see in the gyms nowadays? Shoulders and back, and sometimes some knees. And what are the best ways to rehab then other than to get a exercise going where it's multipolar and you're able to really engage every single part of your shoulder, where you're able to engage your whole back, where you're able to engage your core all at the same fucking time, and then progress it and also get it stronger, put weight on top of it, build muscle around it. Like these are the workouts where I've been in a gym since I was 18 years old. I'm now 26, and it is completely, in the last year, has completely changed my life. One, for the training method of also being able to, you know, offer this to clients as well, being able to educate them on this type of work, but now also for myself because it's workouts I don't miss out on because my club goes with me everywhere I go. If I'm out and about, if I have 20 minutes, or if I'm at work, I obviously work out at a gym, so I usually use my club maces there. But if I'm out doing like a presentation, or if I'm out traveling and I want to get a workout in, I can guess what? All I gotta do is get my club out the car, and then boom, there I go. There's my workout.
Go. Yeah, I have customers that store them in the toolboxes on their over-the-road trucks. So these guys are long-haul truckers, and they're stopping at rest stops and they're swinging maces or swinging a club like out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, and they send me videos of it. It's awesome.
It's an effective workout.
Yeah, it is such a great work. If you train with it right, you know, like I've told people this for years, you know, and still I am still learning so much about it, you know, like especially like getting up in the long distance training, you know, like when you're starting to train over 15 minutes with something and you're going for a long time like that. I mean, people think you're crazy, you know, you stand there, I've got this 15-pound mace and I'm going to swing it for 19 minutes today. And they're like, what? You know, and your hands are a mess by the time you're done with it. Actually, I discovered wax. Have you tried any of the waxes instead of chalk?
No. So that's a good investment because my marathon session is tomorrow for myself. So my goal is basically to see if I can get to the 30-minute mark. If I can get to the 30-minute mark, I'll be in a very confident state. Overly confident state, but even if I get to the 20-minute mark, I'll be very happy because I'm only using a 15. I'm not going anything heavy. I'm going just for 15-pound mace. I'm going nice and light with it. You know, it's for some people that may be heavy, but no, that for 15 pounds for me, I could literally do with one arm, not a problem. And happy to say that I've officially with the club, comfortably, I've gotten 40-pound swings down. Comfortably, I've gotten single arm 40-pound mills down.
That's a nice mill.
yeah, it took a long ass time, but that was one of the, that's why I've been working with it 3-4 times a week. People ask me, do you do anything else? Not really, for the most part. I do kettlebells and I do maces. Occasionally I'll do some weight training. Occasionally I'll do some cable work and stuff like that, you know, to really work on some other things. But other than that, no, because I got goals, and my goal is to become, you know, it's one, I'm the only Macefit coach on Long Island, but two, I want to expand the brand. Like these are the things where I want to really show people, like, these are the workouts that can really, one, change your life for the better, because you never can have the excuse of not going to the gym. You can literally just step right outside. And multiple videos I have on my Instagram, which is, if you're not following it, it's at Welshcare _ Tales, TALEZ. And some of the videos, most of the videos I want to say, are me literally in my backyard, just swinging away the club, the mace, getting down and dirty in the dirt, sometimes with it. And it's how I learned. It's how I was able to really, you know, be where I'm. It's how I was able to get to where I'm at today. When it comes down with the club and the mace work, because I put the effort in, I put the time in. You know, I never had the excuse of I never got my workout in, because I always get my workout in no matter what. And whether it being something nice and light and conditioning, where I'm only using it at the regular, you know, non-weighted, you know, additional weighted set, or I have it maxed out and I'm completely tearing muscle fibers and I'm building some size. Like, you can build size with this stuff if you get to the proper weight. Like, that's nothing that people don't understand. Like, you can build some pretty big shoulders and some pretty big forearms when it comes down to using this work.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, if I dial my diet in, you know, like to gain weight, like if I, you know, like where I can, you know, now I'm running, I think I'm at, Lisa's got me at like 2,700 calories a day right now, because she's like, you need to get abs for the summertime, you know? So I'm like, okay, honey, you know, in the meantime, my arms are shrinking and stuff like that.
Abs are so fucking overrated. I don't care what anyone says. Abs are so fucking overrated.
They are overrated, but
they take away too much of your happy life. They take, like, I still enjoy my donuts. I still enjoy my beer, my pizza every now and then. Like,
dude, a good beer every night is like just fantastic.
A beer, you know? Especially after a long ass day in the summertime working on the car or doing some yard work, there is very there's not there's I don't really think there's anything close to that when it comes down to the refreshing feeling.
And it's only that first beer. After that, they don't work. It doesn't have that same. It doesn't have that same feeling.
It's just that one beer. It's just one beer, literally.
Beer, and that's all you need. And it has to be a decent beer. It can't be like, you know, like just generic beer, you know, like Budweiser. No. That doesn't work.
No, for me, I'm a classic Corona man. I still enjoy my Coronas.
Dude, that's you know what I love that you're saying that? The Corona in the brown bottle of Familiar.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That is so freaking good. We eat a lot of steak, so that pairs so good with the steak. I'm going back to my chef days. It's pairing.
Ooh,
what's that?
I said I never thought to have that with steak. I'm always thinking like a red wine or something like that with steak.
No, you got to do a Corona. You do a real hoppy beer with steak. It just amplifies the flavor of the steak.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I'm sold. I already know what I'm doing Friday.
It's a malty beer. I love that. And it's got to be like just that good cold, you know, like, but the Corona Familiar is like one of the ones. And I've been buying another one called, it's called Breckenbach. And I think they sell it at Aldi. It's kind of like a Shinerbach ripoff, but it's actually a little heavier than Shinerbach, you know, Texas beer. Yeah. And it's actually pretty good. I enjoy it. So like I go back and forth between those two. That's like my house beer, you know, for that. But Lisa's like, yeah, why don't you try to get some abs this summer? And I'm like, all right, yeah, we're almost 60. You know, we might as well just do it one last time. You know, let's rip up and shred up, and then you know
that I can understand. That I can understand. So, one final time for for old time's sake.
Yeah, so like what I'm doing now is I'm using my mace. I kind of swapped over my mace work for like my cardio stuff, and I do all my heavy work, my strength training with my club. And then, you know, I'll mess around with the arc, but the cardio work, I'm doing Metcons, or I'm just doing a strict cardio workout, you know, like a 20-minute workout with just the mace, and like you're like nonstop with it. Either I'm doing like 5 or 6 different moves with the mace, you know, like just grouped together, just nonstop, set a timer and keep going. Or I'm just doing 10 to 2. I like doing 10 to 2s better than 360s because you pull over both shoulders and you could swap hands. You know, it's a little easier and a little more, you know, thinking. I feel like it's a little more balanced too. Instead of swinging one way, then swinging the other way. And that to me is kind of boring. But 10 to 2s, I love doing them and just like hammering them out, like doing a few sprint runs in there. So like, you know, like just up and, you know, like see what you do for 30 seconds, you know, like what your regular count is, your cruising count, then upping it, like try to up it 4 reps for the next 30 seconds. And that gets your heart up so fast. And then to back off again, then, you know, another minute later, try to up it, you know, in that 30-second sprint and back out again and then up. It's kind of like you're doing HIIT training in a long set. It's kind of like if you were jogging, let's say you're jogging for 3 miles and then every, let's say 3/4 of a mile, you sprint and you just run 100 yards as fast as you can. And then you go back to your cruising speed. Same thing with the mace, you know, you cruise along, hit for 30 seconds, just bam, you know, like as fast as you can, try to get 4 more reps than what you just previously got for the 30 seconds. Then go back to your cruising speed and then bang it up again a couple minutes later. So it's kind of fun and it keeps you engaged more with it. But I was going to say though, if you're swinging your clubs right, like if you're really working yourself, when you were talking about a whole body workout before, your feet will be actually, you're going to be like walking when you're done training. And I got to say this, I know where you're
getting at with this.
And I gotta say, I do not feel beat up from Mason club training the way I used to feel beat up after weightlifting. When I was done lifting, I was one of those guys that did like the blood and guts training. So I trained for like 15 minutes, you know, 3 days a week, and I was huge from it. I was big, and I was doing that, you know, like the maximum destruction to your body and the maximum time to repair in 9 days before you do that exercise again. And working out 3 days a week, like for 15 minutes, it was ridiculous. The less I trained, the bigger I got and the stronger I got. It was dumb. Now with the mace and the club, I could do it every day. I'll get tired from it, don't get me wrong, but I don't come in and go, oh my God, I can't move my shoulder, my hip doesn't work. You know, I'm all like smashed together feeling. I feel invigorated 15 minutes after it instead of like, I need an ambulance. Yeah. So the feel, but what I was going to say to people that to understand this, when you hit a certain level in your training, your whole body feel, when you walk away, your feet are like, it's like, damn, what was I doing with my feet that my feet feel like they worked out? Now they don't feel bad. They just feel like you did like really a whole body workout. You're like, I did 2 exercises. What the hell? Yeah. Now my feet feel, you know, like they feel like they exercised. Then 15 minutes later, all of a sudden your feet and your ankles feel good. Your knees feel good and your hips feel good. You don't feel like you're smashed together and have to go to the chiropractor.
Yeah, and I can attest to that because being somebody who's also both half broken on my left side of my body with my left shoulder, my left side of my lumbar, my left hip, my left knee, and now it's also my right knee again. Literally the whole left side of my body was completely destroyed, and I was always having pain every single day whenever I was working out. And the amount of pain I would be in was always, you know, pulling away from my motivation to actually do some workouts because I was in always so much agony either during the workout or after workout. So when these were introduced to my life and I got good at this stuff and I became more consistent with it and I started really, you know, making it more of my routine, one, the pains have fully seceded away. Like I really have little to no pain, only when it's like the weather has been the way it's been, where it completely changes from 20 degrees to 60 degrees. Then my body starts to yell at me saying, what the hell is going on outside? But other than that, I can tell you that I've never felt so, one, the best shape of my life, hands down, because I'm able to lift the heaviest I've ever lifted but I also have probably the best body fat to skeletal muscle mass ratio that I've ever had in my entire life. Being at a 12.5% body fat, and then being at
Nice.
having my skeletal muscle mass reading on the in-body saying 110, is, and for the most part, my training being dedicated to club heavy.
Hey, what's going on, guys? So real quick, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this amazing company that I've now had the honor and privilege of partnering up with, Cannabolics. So for those that don't know Cannabolics is a Long Island-based company, and they are specialists in cannabis. So those that know me know that I love my greens, and I am a daily greens user. As Pat McAfee says, vitamins. I love my vitamins. And when I say that Cannabolics has had the best source of vitamins, aka CBD, aka Delta 8, and even some live rosin flower, live rosin pens. When I tell you that this is hands down some of the best CBD on the market, I cannot stress it enough that this is hands down the best CBD you will get your hands on. In particular, I'm going to talk a little bit about this freeze gel here, this miracle worker for my knees especially. Now, my knees are completely destroyed from my time in the military and also from the years of doing improper form in the gym before I actually became educated. So my knees hate me. Not anymore. Now they love me every time I rub this on. It feels amazing. Currently, I have it on right now. After a heavy, intense session with my legs, I cannot feel any better with my knees than I do right now. Usually I feel a little bit of that achiness. I feel a little bit more of that soreness, that tightness, and I'm not feeling it. It's been about a week and almost 2 weeks now, and I have yet to feel a single ounce of that extra stress that I used to feel before I started using this here. The other thing I want to talk a little bit about for those who are wanting to get elevated, but not to the point that you're sitting on your couch questioning your day. Their Delta 8 is by far the best Delta 8 on the market. It is a great high if you are looking to be active, be functioning, and be relaxed at the same time. If you are looking to invest in anything from Cannabolics, go to cannabolics.org, not .com, cannabolics.org, 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 and then use promo code Welshcare, WELSHCARE, Welshcare at checkout, and you'll save an additional 10% off. You will see these products. I'm going to have Cannabolics all stacked up behind me as well. So you amazing gentlemen at Cannabolics, I cannot thank you enough. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this partnership. On to the next ad. All right, guys. So real quick, we're going to talk a little bit about your next protein purchase, which is going to be the Jocko Milk. So you're going to go to originmain.com. You're going to use promo code Welsh10, WELSH10 at checkout for 10% off your order. You're going to order yourself some Jocko Milk, and you're going to save yourself some money at the end of the day. If you find that you're buying yourself probiotics, digestive enzymes, essential amino acids, aka EAAs, or protein powder, and you're buying all that separately, and if you're buying at a high quality rate, chances are you're probably spending anywhere between $120 to $200. Jocko Milk only costs $44.95 at originmain.com. And then if you use my code, like I said earlier, Welsh10, WELSH10, for 10% off your order at checkout, you can save yourself 10% off on top of getting yourself the best tasting and the best quality protein that's on the market. Thank you guys for watching the episode. Hope you have a great one.
Combining for people who don't know what Mace Flow is, it's basically combining a yoga / Tai Chi workout with a mace. And it's a very good core workout to engage your core in multiple different ways, to hold your body in different poses. Now, when it comes down to people who want to build size and build muscle and build strength and build, and do all the cardio, all that stuff, that's when you want to do a Mace Fit type workout. That's where you want to actually engage your muscles and really build some size. That's where you can get to it took me forever to get to where I'm at. The latest club video that I posted where I'm squatting with it, I'm holding it out in front of me, I'm getting my 360s with it, I'm doing a two-handed clean with it. Like and people think, oh, that can't be heavy, that can't be that heavy, and then they pick it up, and then they realize, whoa, how the hell are you swinging that thing behind your neck? And it's like, hey, you just gotta get good at it. And and for the most part, my arms have never looked as good as they ever been before. And I also haven't been as strong as they've never been before, especially when it comes down to the way I feel after when I'm strictly just designating to arm work, and I'm just doing a lot of mills, and I'm getting heavy mills. Just recently doing the 40-pound mills have made my arms denser. Like it's like that flabbiness like is basically gone. Like it's all just starting. It's like the density that these tools provide in your body. It lasts. Like it's going to stay. Like it's not like the pumped up muscle where it's just like you're getting a good pump for the night, and then by the next 2 days after you're done working out, it's completely gone and you're back to where you look like. No, the pump from these lasts from a very, very long time because it's a total fucking body workout. So when I get the workout in, usually in my morning, in the evening time, my pump is usually still there because it's working the deepest roots of my body because this is such ancient work. And again, I wanted to bring this up early in the podcast. The ancient history behind the tools, and as doing more research made me appreciate the work that these tools do, because our bodies have truly forgotten certain motions, and especially like during gladiator eras where they were practicing, doing, before there was guns, before there was, things they could shoot across the battlefield. It was dummy clubs and dummy swords they were using to practice for wartime. And that era, you see the strongest, you see the structures of just like these massive fucking shoulders, like compared to like today's era where aside from the people who are either genetic freaks or using genetic enhancers, shoulders are one of the most underdeveloped and rounded and weakened part of our bodies now, because there's certain moves that these hit now that you can't hit with regular weights. Like you can't just do the same thing with a dumbbell. Unfortunately, you don't get the same benefits out of it. Like there's certain dips, there's certain things when it comes down to the multipolar movements that you're able to really strengthen up the entire shoulder. And it's not just one part. Like you're not just focusing on the front. You can not just being therapeutic. It's like, no, it's literally everything inside and outside. So when this really came into my life, I can't appreciate it enough, because this is, I can't stress this enough, that it's completely changed up my life.
That's wonderful to hear. This is like you get it and you embraced it, and you see that this is basically all of the movements that you're doing with this is all work movements that, like a hammer, you're using a hammer, you're pulling a rope, to haul a heavy load, things like that, so the leg work even involved with moving things, and how the underswings coming up and catching the weight to do things like that. The only thing that comes close to that ballistic type of training is Olympic weightlifting. And with Olympic weightlifting, there's basically 2 lifts. And this goes beyond that. See, this is a tool that can help Olympic weightlifters because they already understand the ballistics of using the body, where as a power lifter or a bodybuilder, you're not using the ballistics, you're using your strength to push whatever way that you're pushing. That's different, where the Olympic lifters have to throw the weight to be able to get it to where they are, and then move their body fast enough either under it or catch it at a certain place. This times that better. I think that is the timing, the timing. So that the clubs and the maces, they teach a timing, like when you cast it out and you're bringing it back, you're not only just moving the weight, you're developing timing, which creates a lot more of the neural pathways that we're, they're talking about more. Scientists are talking about more, especially with people that are aging, we got a whole section of people that were on the heart healthy diet for years, like my parents' age. Thank God I didn't get involved in that, worrying about my cholesterol and stuff like that and being on all those medications. But what we're finding out with my parents' generation is that they dried out their brains and their nervous systems. So you see, we have a high level of people that are in their 70s to 90s with dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, even multiple sclerosis, which is, was once believed just to be, they weren't sure about it because it was, it had an obscure etiology to it. They weren't sure if it was genetic. They weren't sure if it was autoimmune. They weren't sure how it comes out. But now, they're starting to think that it might be the way that people process fats and the way that they can't repair their nervous system, the myelin sheath. Basically, if you think of an electrical wire with the insulation around it, and you scrape away that insulation and touch it to a piece of metal, it's gonna arc out. And that's what happens with multiple sclerosis. The myelin sheath wears away, or it gets plaques on it that eats it up, and then it short circuits to another muscle. So people with MS, they want to move their arm and do this. They can't because the signal's not going all the way down their arm. It's getting dissipated into their forearm, and they might have tremors in their forearm or tremors here or a tannic contraction, where it's locking up because the muscle short circuiting via that neural pathway. But they're thinking that this, that diet has led to more cases of these diseases and conditions, that have to do with brain function, neural function. And, this type of exercise strengthens our neural pathways. Basically, it's like I keep wiping off my glasses.
I said, what's going on over there? Was it getting humid in there?
Yeah, no, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's my face or what that's doing that. The grease flying up. Italian and all the grease.
I'm pretty sure you can see it. Yeah, right. I'm looking. Yeah, the grease. Right, and I showered today, and it's just it comes right the fuck back. That's why we tan so easily in the summertime, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, thank God for that. I still need a little more melanin. My brother got it all, but I wish I just had a little bit more. So
especially in the summertime, I get pretty dark, and I get roasted sometimes because people. It'll happen where someone will start speaking Spanish to me, and I happen to look very Puerto Rican when I'm fully tanned and. They have my facial hair and everything is growing out slightly. It's happened to me since I've been an adult that people just randomly start speaking Spanish to me, and also growing up in Brentwood, I do understand a good majority of Spanish. It's just I can't speak it because I'm traumatized from my 8th grade experience of trying to say boots in Spanish. And for those who are Spanish and already know where I'm going to go with this, boots in Spanish is botas. And instead of saying botas in Spanish, I said puta. So
nice. You got in trouble.
Oh, well, no. I didn't get in trouble. Thankfully, my Spanish teacher at the time, thankfully, had a very comedic look to it as well. But yeah, so basically since then I've always had like that little fear, unless I get drunk off of wine for some fucking reason. I have no idea why, but it's only when I get drunk off of wine where if someone starts speaking Spanish to me, I could have a full-on conversation, not a problem. It just flows right off my tongue. And
you're more relaxed.
I can't access that brain. I can't access that when I'm fucking sober, completely sober. There's no way I can access that.
Because you're worried about the putas.
Yeah.
Because you're worried about making that mistake again, and it's just gonna, it's locking your brain up. You just gotta let it go, man. You just gotta chat it up.
It's been fucking 12. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's been like 14 years, and I wish I could fucking let it go. And I still, for some reason, my body's like, nope, that's just staying right there. But
I'm not gonna do that. You get loose when you get the wine and
yeah, unfortunately, but that's why I haven't drank wine in almost like 4 or 5 years because of that. But it's oh, that was the other thing I wanted to talk about also.
What's that?
Hector Lombard how the hell did that happen? How did you two collaborate?
Oh, wow. That's
Because now, shout out to Hector Lombard. He's got a fight. He's got a fight coming up in Eagle FC now. He
Eagle
signed with
FC, yeah.
yeah, he signed with Khabib Nurmagomedov's company.
Yes, yes, and he's very excited about that. Hector is one of the most unique characters I've ever met in my life. I am so happy to say he's my friend. I love the fact that he is a very smart man. He is. He's got, I think he's on 9 patents right now. So basically, I look at it like I got to lead in with this. I really have to up my man card because I've only got 1 patent. And I've been in honestly, I've been in like 12 fights in my whole life, and I'm talking growing up in school and I'm not talking elementary school. I'm talking from like 12 years old on, like man age fights. And I probably lost, I think I only won 1. So Hector can basically kick 99.9% of the men's ass on the earth right now with his bare hands, just by showing up.
He was in Bare Knuckle FC. He was a Bare Knuckle FC champion.
Yeah, and then and then not only that, but he's also got, I think, 9 patents. Let's say 8 to be sure. 8 patents, possibly 9. And I'm like, damn, I gotta up my man game. I've only got 1 patent and I've only won 1 fight. Like what the hell? He's got a heavyweight or a light heavyweight belt from BKFC. He's got, Bellator belt from years ago, like his trophy room is a room, like, and the room is, but how I met him, my daughter dated him for a little bit. Yeah. All right. Okay. So my daughter.
Okay. That's a hell of a way to meet him. Okay.
All right. But wait, but after they broke up, that's when I met him. I didn't meet him. It was a brief thing for like, I think they were together like 2 months. And, she's in the fitness industry. So she's high profile in the fitness industry. Well, going into that. Anyway, Hector and her, they had a thing. And he invited Lisa and I to watch the fights. And Danielle was there and we went to the fights and, it was kind of cool. And I was like, damn, this guy is like really cool. I seen some of his other stuff, prior to that. And I didn't really give thought to it because, if I meet him, it's going to be on a personal level, not because Hector Lombard champion has come to my house. It's Hector Lombard, my friend, is coming to my house. Right. That's the way, I look at it. So, I mean, it is exciting that he is a champion and all that, but so we kind of like became friends after they broke up, and he's like, yeah, he called me up one day and he's like, hey, I want to ask you something. He's like, what's up with your club? And I'm like, come over and try it out. He goes, okay. So like, just like that, all of a sudden the guy was over my house. Like I never met him before that. Until at the fight, but with that was like, like, hi, this is Hector, and that's it. Like the guy had a job to do. It was his big night. Right. But so he calls me up, like, like after they had broken up, and he says, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Hector, how are you?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go." He goes, "I want to try out your club because it looks really interesting." And I'm like, "Okay." And I'm like, he goes, "Where are you now?" I said, "I'm at my wife's gym." And he says, "You gonna be there for a little while?" I said, "Yeah, I just started working out." He goes, "I'm gonna be right over." And I'm not kidding. He was over in like 10 minutes. Huh. And like the guy, and like I'm waiting for like, like he's gonna show up in an hour and I'm already being. So he's like, "Show me how to do this." So he worked out with me doing it. And he's like, "Oh man," he goes, "You train hard. This is a lot of fun. This is it." Like he was like looking at the piece. So it all started from there. So then we started talking more and more, and he started telling me about his ideas, his inventions that he's got. And, we became like buddies after that, and, he right now he's getting ready for the fight. So I haven't seen him for like a month because he's like really like focused. Yeah. And, but he calls me up and check in, like, "Hey man, how you doing? I just want to call, say hi. When all this is over, we're going to go out, we're going to grab a beer or something, and we're going to get some steaks." He's like, all excited. But very interesting man, he really is. He's very accomplished, very interesting, very focused. His life, I mean, like, he has a great story. You know, he defected from Cuba to Australia. You know, he was a silver medalist on the Cuban Olympic jiu-jitsu team. He runs away to Australia, like he escaped, man. Like, he just like escaped. I mean, how cool is that? You know, and then starts fighting UFC.
And go to Australia,
in
of all places.
Yeah, in Australia, and then went from there and did some stuff in Japan, where there was this kind of weird, like, Bushido type of thing where they fight in 3 different modalities, like it's 3 rounds, and you have to do.
The first round being 10 minutes, the second round being oh my god, I forgot the time limits of the round. I know the first round is 10 minutes. I'm pretty sure the second is either 7 or 5, and then the third one is like a 5 or 3 minute.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
And don't they do different modalities in there? Like, one time they come out and they're like fighting one way, and then the next time the next round. I didn't understand what was going on. It was very confusing, man. I never asked them about it, because, like, we try not to talk shop with each other. We just try to talk like, hey, let's train, let's talk cars and trucks, you know, let's talk ideas. So, you know, like, we do that type of thing. So, like, he did that, and then he ended up here in America, and, you know, it's just, you know, it's cool how it all, you know, came around. But I'm glad he's not, let's just put it this way, I'm glad to be friends with him. I mean, he's really an interesting cat. He's brought a lot of fun to my life. He is, you know, he's a ball to have around. And, you know, and also too, you know, to go see him at the fights when they're here. He does fight a lot here at the Hard Rock and at the, you know, in Miami at the other venues that are there. So it's kind of cool, you know, just to have, you know, that type of relationship with him. So, you know, that's always fun.
I mean, and outside of that, you build some pretty solid relationships with these people in this community in general. Like, I know your relationship with Mark Wildman is pretty solid also. Like, he's got, you know, I want to say some of the best instructional videos when it comes down to different type of works with the mace and clubs, from anything from advanced to intermediate or to beginner. Like, he's somebody that I personally have been following also and for the last year, to really work on that technique and to, you know, look at, because there's no one else here to do it hands-on for me. And so, you know, it's very hard to learn it on your own and to really just go off videos. But Mark Wildman made it pretty freaking easy for me to do so. And then a combination of also Carlos, you know, Kettlebell Carlos, shout out to Carlos. And then
Carlos
also,
is awesome.
Yeah. Carlos has definitely helped me out a lot when it comes down to the swings and when it comes down to just the overall motions of both maces and kettlebells. And then shout out also, like I said before, to Josh Quincy, and then to also weightlifting doc Tony. Like, the combination of all those guys. If anyone's serious about this type of work, aside from myself, follow those guys, and you can guarantee some quality content and education when it comes down to the products.
Those guys, you know, there's such a wealth of information out there about this, but really, like, when you work with the people, like, if you go to a certification, and I don't care whose it is, you know, if you're there hands-on, you know, and I am a big proponent of the modality, because it was what gave me hope, you know, just training this way with a dumbbell, for God's sakes. It was nobody's product. You know what I mean? With a one-sided dumbbell got me to where I'm doing now, where I was like, there's something to this. There's something more to this. And then I started meeting all the people in the world, Mr. Maceman, Rick Brown, you know, and then I'm meeting Chip Conrad from Body Tribe. You know, things like that. And then you could work with these people. I mean, because when I first started, I honestly knew nothing, and I was trying as hard as I could. And people feel like they're on their own when they're doing that. There's some people that are okay with doing that, but I wanted to learn more. I knew I wasn't doing stuff right. And then, you know, I would have people like critique. I'd send them a video, you know, like, here's a rep of me doing this. What am I doing wrong? You know, and just start asking, and then reading about it and digging through other people's videos and go out and practice it. But when you have people with you, you know, if you're training by yourself and you're doing this, you're learning. when you got someone that's talking with you and like putting the ideas and watching you and working with you, it changes the game. That changes the game.
Absolutely.
That's why I
Absolutely.
think I'm so, lucky to have my classes twice a week. And I'm there, like 95% of the time I'm there. I hardly ever take off from that class. Every once in a while I'll have Big Mike fill in for me because I had like a long day or something was going on. But just the fact of being able to work with people and by looking at other people and analyzing their work and correcting them,
It makes you better.
learning from them, it makes you better because you think about it. Now it's in your head. You just saw it in somebody else and you're like, wait a second, I think I do that. How would I fix that? Now I can see it on someone else and I can fix it for them because you can't fix it on yourself when you don't see it. And I don't care how many mirrors you stand in front of or videos, you still need to like practice teaching and practice doing when you're a coach.
Absolutely.
And that's so important. And then when you have somebody to train with, that ups it so much more because now that other person might push you. Hey, why don't we do this for a little more time? Why don't we do this with a little more weight? Why don't we back off on the weight on this and add a couple more exercises to this? Let's see how we feel. And there's so many resources in our community of the Mason clubs. I mean, look at Steel Mace Nation. Look at Victoria with the Steel Mace Warrior podcast, Steel Mace Nation podcast. These guys are banging out. Danny Cola, Jamie Pinto, like all these guys are like talking about it. Franken Legs, you got the crazy trainer up in Orlando. Well, down from you, but up in Orlando, Jared. He's been, I've been talking to him since the beginning.
Which also, I'm sorry, but the things that he can do with a freaking kettlebell, it's mind blowing, fucking mind blowing. I'm sitting here just doing the 54-pound flips, thinking I'm like, this is some pretty hard shit, and then I see him doing what he's doing. It just makes me. The kettlebells don't look real. They look like they're foam. Like the way he makes it look, they don't look real. But when you pick up the weight, it's just like no fucking way he's doing it with this shit. There's no way. And you look at the kettlebell, and you happen to see that 35 or that 25, that 45.
It'll show you that weight. That's weight that he's and people, look, like I say, like, we were joking around before, like the circus tricks. Like I got the black eye from the circus trick this week. I got cracked in the face with my mace, screwing around. And it's on video. You guys will see it. It'll be up there. Carlos is working.
I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, because it's kind of funny. It's stupid boy humor. So, anything that an 8-year-old boy laughs at, I'm basically going to laugh at. But these trainers that we've got access to, Leo, Frank DeMeo from MaceFit, putting together the programming to build strength, in a system, not just saying do it like this. Even Scott Sonnen, he brought it out to all of us and with the TACFIT system, but he's, I'm not going to say, but he's about movement and moving well, like there's just so much you could take away from all these different people and put it together and it would never be boring, whereas like if you're powerlifting, you're just moving the weight, man, that's it, like it's exciting to get that big weight. But but it takes you a year to go up 3 pounds when you hit a certain level. I remember when my bench press was increasing 5 pounds a year, 5 pounds a year, because now I'm getting near the max and now I got to put on more size and I, force feed 9,000 calories a day and crap like that. No, I don't want to do it anymore. I want to be healthy. I want to be able to move. I want to be able to run around. There's so much information out there and so many good people doing it, that like, and the skills that people are showing with this going to like the crazy trainer, like what's he going to do with a club when he, like, what's this guy going to do with
like, flip the club in the middle of the air. Like, just I'm always questioning what the hell can he do next?
Yeah, I mean, and when someone does something like that, you have to imagine the regular strength that they have just to perform their exercises. So like this guy's probably training with like an orange or a red kettlebell on on a every other day basis. You know, like, you know, he's training with a heavy kettlebell. I don't even know the weights. I just know the colors. I know what's heavy, you know, and if it gets prettier, it's like nature. As it gets prettier, it gets more
It's more
dangerous.
deadly.
Yeah. Yeah. Poisonous snakes, the most beautiful things you're ever going to see. Poisonous fish, beautiful. You know,
I actually just happened to say, I happened to just come across a video of like this guy found like this caterpillar in New Jersey. It's like this big, and it looks like a little furry cat, but if you happen to touch it, it immediately basically sends like I want to say like a
like a
sensor to your
taser.
brain. Yeah, and it feels like your hand has completely shattered. Like every bone in your hand has, it doesn't go to the muscles. Like the pain goes right to your bones. And the
Oh,
thing looks so freaking adorable. It's like this big and it looks like a little furry cat that's running around, but it's a caterpillar and it's very
is it
fluffy,
orange?
very furry. No, it's white and black. It's a very small, very small, but it's a very poisonous. It's to the point that it could make your hand and whole arm feel like you're shattered for about 10 hours.
Oh
So
my
yeah,
God.
yeah. But then
Why would
also
nature do that to you?
nature is fucked up in general. Like if I believe it's the koala where if they feel that the mother feels threatened by a predator and they have their child in their hand, they're gonna throw the koala child at the predator and then run away. I believe it's a koala if I'm not mistaken.
Oh
But
my God.
yeah, those things happen in nature. But when I
They're like crack moms. Well, they're all blasted. Aren't they all blasted on eucalyptus leaves? Like, aren't they like living
yes.
like, is that the koala bear or is that the
Yes,
pandas?
if you take the koalas eucalyptus away from they become very aggressive and become a bear within a matter of just a couple of seconds. It's almost, I believe it's like a 30
Crack
second
bear.
thing where it's like, yeah, it's like if they don't have a eucalyptus leaf in their fucking hand at that point or just munching on it, they got problems. There's something there that's an issue.
Oh my God, that's the crack bear.
It's a crack bear, fucking crack bear.
Take the baby.
But brother man, I first off, I already can't believe that we're creeping up on 2 hours talking. But
Holy moly. That's
yeah,
awesome.
it just flies
This
right
feels
by
like 10 minutes.
every single time. Every single time it flies by. But one thing I do want to put out there, again, and I know I said it before, but I can't appreciate as much as how much you've helped really change up my entire life for this last year. The reason why I wanted to have you on so early was because, you know, we're creeping up on that 1 year anniversary of our official first phone call, where we sat and we talked for about 45 minutes about everything from, you know, what I'm about to what you're about, and then telling me about Adex and everything else. And then it would be another 3 weeks after that where my first official club would come in the mail, and I would start to get to work with the clubs and start using some, the club in the mail, and got to work with that. And also happened to be around the same time where I started this position at Unique Fitness. And it couldn't have come at a more perfect time, because what more of a unique way to work out, and what better of a gym to work it out at than have it be named Unique Fitness. So
Yeah.
bringing this Mace Fit type workout to Unique, and then also having my clients try it out, telling me that they're feeling the difference, and then also having a few people happen to order a club also, and to this way they have one at their house, 2 of them being friends of mine, 1 of them being a client, because they love the fact that they can go anywhere and get their workout in. It's the beginning of a full transformation, just because I know this is not where everything stops. This is just the beginning. And now that I'm fully comfortable with the video demonstration on things that I do with the clubs and the maces, and that my form has gotten a hell of a lot better, including when it comes down to the heavy work, because I always struggled for a little while with, you know, getting over that 25 mark, but now sitting at the 50 mark with a mace and sitting at the 47.5 mark with a club, I am very confident to be where I'm at today, and to be very confident to be now taking the step further into advancing my certification to a Mace Fit level 2. And I cannot wait to bring more coaches that are truly passionate about this and certify them.
That's awesome, man. That's, you're a person that's going to bring this out in such a positive light. You know, not that other people haven't done it before, but you know, I think with your energy and your determination and what you're displaying, you know, with your videos and your progression over the years' time, dude, you're going to be going places with this. This is really important. This is something that's like it. You know, the way that we're viewing fitness now is complete. This is like completely different than what was taught to me as a kid. You know, when I first got into it when I was 12 years old.
Absolutely.
I mean,
never would I thought I'd see anything like this right now. Never would I thought of ever.
Me neither.
None of this.
You know, I never thought of it. When I made the first initial 50 of them, I was like, I wonder if these things will ever sell.
And now here you are ordering, you know, pallets of hundreds coming out.
Yeah, we're putting an order in for, I think this order of steel is a little light because we're trying to keep it, we're trying to hope for a better steel price, but we're only ordering 20 tons of steel this time. So,
only 20 tons.
Only 20 tons.
Only 20 tons versus just having just 50. Just having just 50 clubs made. Oh my God, like every time that we talk, there's always something new that I learn about you and learn about the company. And the one thing that I am very much looking forward to outside of achieving that Mace Fit Level 2 certification is when that big boy drops at the end of the year. Hopefully it does by the end of the year, because I cannot imagine a more fun way to start the year next year than creating some type of a challenge, calling it like Excalibur or something like that, being able to see if you can do it. Anyone in my gym, you can do a 80-pound clean, just a clean with the club. Just a clean, not a swing, not anything else with that. Not literally just a clean, because the amount of people that can't even pick up the club when it's at 30 is pretty freaking one. It shows me that real strength is not in the size of your muscles. Real strength is how dense those muscles are and how strong that grip is, because it's going to be put to that test. The second that club comes up to this point, oh, that test is going to be very much tested. That strength is going to be tested to the point it's either going to come up here nice and clean, or it's going to be up. There goes some teeth. If you're doing it properly, they're not going to lose your teeth. You're just going to hit your chest. But
teeth are expensive.
Yeah, teeth are very expensive. Or it's going to fall down, and you're going to, evidently what happens majority of the times when people try it, they go, and drop. They can't get it.
Yep.
Trust me. There's only two of my clients who have been able to clean the 50 club. And
really?
Yeah. And one for only a couple reps. The other one was only able to get one up. But the one that was only able to get the couple happens to be able to squat over 600 pounds, happens to be able to deadlift over 5, does 275-pound jump squats.
Whoa.
Yeah. So when I say that this man, it's like a 435 bench, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
That's a nice bench.
So the man's fucking strong. But when I handed him the club fully maxed out, he looked at me like, how? His eyes open wide, and he's just like, the video you posted the other day, how are you getting this behind your head? How are you bringing this over? And it all comes down to proper technique. You get that proper technique down, you're not going to feel any pain. You're just going to feel, holy shit, exhausted.
Yeah. Let me ask you something. You said you wanted to come down this summer. Are you coming down?
So it's looking like around August, September-ish. I was trying to get down there for the strength training games, but then there's just too much I got going on between June and July.
And it's also 4th of July weekend.
Yeah.
The Mace competition is on the 4th of July weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, it did that money. And also that's when I know for a fact it's going to be a little more expensive to travel. And for some reason, flights to Florida within the last month just skyrocketed, and I have no idea why. Well, I actually have a yet. Never mind. I have no reason. I'm not gonna get political with any of this shit. But that's a different podcast. But it's I'm shooting for August just because I want to catch the tail end of summer before school year hits, because during that time frame my schedule can completely shift based off my clientele in the summertime. If I happen to pick up a couple of college athletes, or if I happen to pick up just some more people, because it's very slim, my schedule right now. Like I only have room. Good problems to have, very good problems to have. I'm not complaining at all with it, but I only really have room to take on maybe like 1 or 2 more clients, and then after that, my schedule is fully tapped out because I need my 1 day of recovery, and then I work 6 days a week. Like, it's not that I'm working just 2 days. No, it's 6 days a week, 8 to 15 hours a day.
Well, hopefully you're putting in the time, man. You're putting in the time. Hopefully I'm going to be able to get away from my, it's supposed to be my 40th reunion, but it's my 41st because last year they couldn't have one because it was in Connecticut. So, everything was shut down.
Everything was still shut down. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we're supposed to be having our 40th. I think it's August 7th. So I might be up there. I'm thinking about going up for 2 weeks. I actually want to drive up because I'm going to take one of my cars up and
come down and come check out the palace.
Oh yeah, I'll be all over, because I'll be right in, basically Westchester, New York, and Fairfield, Connecticut. I'm going to be right, like right there.
It's not even driving. You got to drive past me to get to get to Connecticut.
Yeah,
so
to get to Connecticut, yeah. So you're in Brentwood. So, and Lisa would probably like to go out and see the island. She hasn't been out there since she was a kid. She's
so much has changed. Oh, when was the last time she was out here?
I think she came down here in 91.
Okay, yeah. When I tell you she's in for a major culture shock, just within my lifespan alone, and my adult brain, to be able to remember things when I was a kid, and to seeing how much the amount of businesses that have developed, and also the amount of I want to say just expansion that there's been on Long Island. You're going to see why that there's more people in Suffolk County than there is in the entire state of Montana. And you can see how they can fit so many people on this island. Like, it's mind blowing sometimes, because especially if you anyone who lives on Long Island can attest to this shit. Especially if you're driving at 4:30 in the afternoon on the LIE, I cannot. Oh yeah, it's a parking lot. It's a parking lot for 2 hours. 2 hours parking lot.
I left Connecticut in '85. So for those that are listening, I grew up on the border of New York and Connecticut. So basically, I lived in the metro New York area. So I was like, I'm in the first exit in Connecticut after you leave New York, coming out of Westchester. I also
hated driving through Connecticut. I had to drive to Massachusetts one time, and the worst part of driving through that whole trip was driving through fucking Connecticut. I've never experienced so many people who don't use their damn blinkers. I've never experienced so many people who just ride your ass and then try to cut next to you to then get cut off. It was literally like bumper cars, and I was looking at every single mirror at all times. Like, it was very minimal. Yep. Like I had to stay focused. It was oh my, head on a swivel was the moderate way to say it. I'm literally spinning in circles. I'm pulling an owl at all times. I'm literally just going around at a 360.
Yeah, when I left, the LIE was the world's biggest parking lot.
And it still is. Still is.
Yeah, that's what people would say. That was the joke. It was like, where's and it was worse than what California is now. Like they say that whatever highway in California that's always backed up. The LIE is still the same way, but I guess they stopped talking about the LIE because it's not cool anymore,
No, because then again, it's not just the LIE now. Because then you had the Southern State, and then you had the Northern State, and then you had Saginaw, and every single day during the weekday, especially at 4:30 to about 7:30 in the afternoon, it's a parking lot. Your trip is going to be extended anywhere between what should take you, give you an idea. What usually, if I leave it for my gym at 5 o'clock in the morning, it takes me 12 minutes to get there, usually, because there's not a single person on the road. And that's if I don't hit any lights. If I hit some lights, maybe 15 minutes.
Now it's
If I'm
45
traveling in the
minutes,
afternoon,
45 minutes.
minimum 35. Minimum.
Yep.
Minimum.
We got the same thing here in Broward County. For all you New Yorkers, New Jersey people, Connecticut people that think you're going to move your happy ass down here and it's going to be so much better, you're wrong. You're going to
No, because everyone's moved down there. That's why it's gotten so much worse.
Because everybody's down here. So
yeah, everyone's moved down there.
What you're just saying right there. Lisa's gym from our old house was 2.4 miles away. It used to take her 42 minutes to get there at rush hour. 42 minutes is 2.4 miles. You could jog there in 12.
Yeah, that's what I say. Really run there within like
You know,
least
if you
amount
run
of time.
down the train tracks, you'll save 5 minutes. And I'm not kidding. But you can't run down
It's
the
so
train tracks
sad.
there.
But here's the other thing that terrifies me about that. It's like, God forbid, like some type of like global disaster or some type of like, you know, astronomical event to happen on Long Island. And we only just see 4:30 in the afternoon. We only see like a portion of people leaving. That is terrifying to think if everybody is trying to leave
Mass
at
exodus.
one time.
Come to Florida when we're under a hurricane warning and all the people that like are freaked out. I think it's like everybody who's under like 45 years old. They're like, oh my God, a hurricane's coming. I'm just getting the hell out of here. And they just pack up and leave. You know, meanwhile, the rest of us just sit here and ride it out. We're like drinking during it.
Just sitting outside watching it.
Yeah. Like, it's a hurricane. It's okay, you know? So like when you see the exodus like coming out of Miami and through Broward County and everything, it's insane. Like they'll just, you know, like they have to open all the tolls just to let people to go out. But basically our traffic down here in the Metro Florida, Metro Miami area, which we're considered part of. So from all right, again, everybody that's out of state that wants to move here to Florida, don't move to Palm Beach, Broward, or Miami-Dade counties. Do not move here. It is too crowded. We're all on top of each other. We all hate each other. We all are mad at each other.
It sounds like Long Island.
Yeah, it is.
Sounds like Long Island.
I left New York. It only lasted about 15 minutes. And then everybody else followed me down here. And, you know, now.
Because not for nothing, that's Long Island in the summertime, and for the most part, that good portion of like that tri-state on the East Coast, New Jersey, you know, New York, Connecticut area.
It's
for the
crowded.
most part, our summertime is your year time, like year round. Like our summertime is what you guys see year round. So and it's what I've noticed the last couple of years, especially. People have just a summer house for up here. They live in Florida, but then they have a summer house on Long Island because they miss Long Island. They love Long Island and everything about it, but they can't stand to live on here, which I can't blame them at all whatsoever, because we also pay the most in property taxes, and then we also, outside of that, it doesn't make sense at all whatsoever that we pay the most property taxes, but we have the most amount of people in the United States. That's again another conversation, but it's like it's literally Long Island 2.0. If you're trying to, well, I'm sorry, Long Island it's like Florida 2.0 in the summertime, especially. Because you got people from Florida coming up here, you got people from up here staying like coming back up here from Florida.
You get you're in the vacation area. People who live in Greenwich, Connecticut, have a house on Long Island.
Yeah, Hamptons, Fire Island, Montauk.
Why? It's the same fucking weather.
Yeah, and I don't understand why you also want it on the beach. If a goddamn hurricane comes over and floods out your area, how much money are you really going to lose if you don't have good insurance? But
it's insane.
Yeah, that's some of the few things. I'll never live underwater. Like that's one thing I'm fully committed to. I'll never live underwater just for that reason alone, because water is terrifying. Like the reality, if you really, I forgot who I had this conversation with. Oh, I'm pretty sure I had. No, I forgot. That's not the point. If I'm 6'3", okay, I'm a fairly tall man, and if I'm in the water, and if my head is underneath the water, and it's underneath the water by a lot, I can't see the floor. There's no anxiety like that ever. I only had to experience it one time when I went out on the boat and went out and then discovered that it's happened to be I don't want to say it's a fear, but I feel, because I'll do it again if I have to, but I feel extremely uncomfortable being out in the middle of that damn ocean and knowing that there's nothing underneath me, and there's just no floor. Like, it's just anything
Yeah.
could come up
And-
at any time.
And not only that, but the sound, the Long Island Sound. So if you go off the North Shore, the Long
Mhm.
Island Sound, and right off the coast of Long Island, that shit's deep.
Uh-huh.
That's not
Oh,
like
yeah.
a gradual slope going down. That just drops. That stuff
No.
all just drops like
Yeah, now the
really
Long
deep.
Island Sound, since Hurricane Sandy, I think it's was Sandy, I forget, or yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Sandy. Now we got sharks and dolphins in our sound. So
Yeah,
it's,
because they
it's
got
an area
blown in
broke.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
From the hurricane. So not only that to worry like about it in the deep ocean, now even in our shallow waters we had the shit too. But it's terrifying. It's genuine. Like the thought about there's no floor. We know more about space than we know about our own ocean. Like that doesn't terrify people. Like that doesn't give you a little bit of anxiety. Like I know there's anxiety out there about like, you know, we're literally on a rock, like floating in the middle of like space and shit.
Monkeys
But
on a rock.
yeah, but now we also have this. We don't have as much understanding of our ocean compared to what we can not even. Yeah, another form of life where we can't survive without, you know, some type of, you know, oxygen. I'm sorry, that's just, it's mind blowing. Like on our own planet, we have very
We don't
minimal
know
idea.
everything.
No,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, we're still
Right.
discovering new plants and stuff. I mean, think about
New
species of
species,
bug,
yeah.
poisonous caterpillars that'll shatter your arm. We got jujitsu caterpillars here.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Oh my God. I can imagine that steps on you and then flips you over. But one thing I wanted to ask you before we get out of here, where do you, earlier in the podcast, you said like, you're not exactly where do you want to be exactly with this business? I know you say you're not exactly where you want to be. Where do you want to be with this business?
Oh, I want to, well, being that I'm coming up like, you know, like I'm going to be 59 this year. I'd like to have the business like running, you know, as well, where I can be an absentee owner almost. I mean, I hate to be like that, but I got a guy that's working fantastic for me now, you know, and he's like basically like, you know, doing everything that I did. And I just, you know, and it's working out really well. But, you know, one day, you know, like I'd like to build it up to be able to have it, you know, either someone can see to take it to the next level where I can't do it financially, or I don't want to do it financially because I'm getting near 60 and I'd like to retire, you know, and like,
Right.
I really would like to retire, you know, like actually retire. People say, well, what are you going to do? You're going to get bored? I'm going to be like, no, if I retire with enough money, I'm not going to get bored. You know, I can find a bunch of things to do during the day. Trust me, on my own, you know, without injuring myself too. But, you know, like but, you know, seriously, I'd like to grow the business where it's really attractive to a company, you know, where a company says, hey, I really like your product. I like your concepts. I like where it's going with that. We could take it further than what you're doing. How much do you want for it? That would be so cool, you know, to have that. If not, you know, maybe one day I could be an absentee owner and just have it run and pay residuals, or, you know, somebody younger takes it over from me, you know, and buys it out and wants to keep it going.
Yeah, it's a company that I hope stays, just because there's, I mean, not that many like real quality products like this that are out there in the world, and that are also run and owned by very small businesses, like a very small business, like with the amount of,
very small.
yeah, I mean, like you said before, you damn near ship the things out of your garage. So,
Yeah.
you know, to have the success that you have now is just more motivation for my generation. And it just shows that if you, yeah, I mean, you may not be where you want to be right now with, you know, but it doesn't mean you're always going to be here. Like when you first put together, you know, the baseball bat with basically a weight welded onto it, to now having the premium quality that you have now with these amazing tools that just happen to be adjustable and snap in as easy as literally just that. And
That nice sound.
it's one of the best sounds. Like, I'm not gonna lie, when that thing fully clanks, like it's just a little bit of like, oof, all right, let's go. Like now, like hearing that sound, it makes you want to go swing. But
Yeah.
It like probably after this, I'm gonna go to the backyard to show a little bit of daylight. Even if not, I might just get a couple of reps in because I just may have to. But I either way, like you deserve the success just because one, you care about your clientele also, like the people who are passionate about this world and about this type of exercise and really want to see it progress. Like you actually do listen. Like when the amount of times we've had conversations, I don't think we've ever had a phone call shorter than 15-20 minutes every time we've talked. Like I'm pretty sure every time we talked is at least a minimum of 15-20, but that's both because we can talk our asses off, but it's also because your products have installed like this passion in me to really keep this going, as far as now wanting to see more trainers teach this around me, because as soon as I leave Long Island, because the big goal eventually is to leave this place. I love Long Island, but I put my biggest goal, and I've talked about it before, is to basically have my own facility here, up and running, good to go, and still be in my name and all that stuff, but I'm in a completely separate state, and I come back every now and then to check up on the place and then come back, and then go and come in, check up on the place, and then come back and leave. I wanted to get to that point. I don't want to live here my entire life. I've realized what staying here your entire life does to some individuals, and firsthand with the industry that I'm in right now, I get a chance to talk to a lot of people who are way past their retirement stage, that they're in their 70s and 80s, and basically talking to them, listening to their mistakes firsthand, so that this way I don't personally make the same mistakes. I learn from their lessons, and then I create my own blessings, because everybody has made mistakes. Everybody has made some type of everyone has failed at something and has possibly learned from it. If they're still complaining about it and bitter about it, obviously those are not the people that you want to go to. But to the individuals who have taken the sucker punch to the chin, or to the people who have, failed multiple fucking times but still gotten right back up and then gone down a different path, there's education from those individuals that you can get from that. You're not going to get from a regular teacher. That it's education that you're going to use in real life, that you're going to use to enjoy experiences if you listen to them properly. If you actually listen with the intent to understand, and not with the intent to reply. Just say, oh, wow, yeah, that's great. No, if you actually listen to somebody who's in their 70s and 80s, they've been around the block plenty of times to give you, a little bit of game, so that this way you don't make the same mistakes they've made. It's just a matter of you now listening and pursuing what they fucking told you. If you sit there and listen, but you don't act on anything what they say, or you don't produce anything out of it, you're just wasting your own fucking time. Like everything I've been educated on, I've always acted on, and the best advice I've ever was given was from Sal. And I know I've told this multiple times on here that the best advice I was ever given was from Sal, saying that be a sponge. No matter where I go, be a sponge, because you'll be surprised at just where it will bring you, as far as the information. Like the fuck, even as far as like dishwashing, like the dishwashing gig I got, like it really taught me how to properly secure trash cans. It taught me what to look out in chemicals. Like it taught me certain things as far as what to use on kitchenware, like on the kitchen floor, like little things like that. When I was 14 or 15, I'm sorry, when I was 15, selling Christmas trees for in the wintertime for tips. It was a gig that taught me how to properly sell myself, how to actually, engage with people at a very early age. Fucking 15 years old, standing outside. Didn't matter if it was raining, if it was snowing, if it was cold, if it was hot. No, standing outside talking to people literally from anywhere between 9 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock at night. Standing outside, waving down people who came in, telling them if they needed help, and then talking to people. It gave me the voice I got. It was a beginning of my voice being able to not only communicate with people, but to also, if I'm passionate about certain things, I know the fuck I can sell it, because I'm also using the damn product and I'm also doing the same thing. I'm not pushing something, or I'm not going to, push something on people that I don't do or I don't use. If I use it, obviously I promote it. And because it's efficient, I don't use bullshit products. I will never use a bullshit product. This has been some of the best tools I've ever used, and it's been some of the best training I've ever done. And I just want more people to get involved with this type of lifestyle. I completely forgot where we were going off with that, because I went from here to here to here to here. But it's just, there's so much that I want to see positive come from this company because of the amount of investment that you've also put into me, being out here. And what I would just love to see is that grow more. So if you're also seeing this and you happen to become a Mace Fit coach, see me in about 60, 70 days or so for your certification, because I'll walk you through the process and I hope we'll be able to be the one that can certify you.
Yeah, that's right. You're going to be level 2. You'll be able to certify people. And that system, I'm telling you, you're going to be able to do good things with Mace Fit.
Trust me, I'm looking forward to doing nothing but the best things, just because I want nothing but the best for it. Because it's completely changed up my life for not only the trainer aspect, being able to teach my clients these type of tools and these type of workouts, but to also change up my entire life when it comes down to, one, I've also been the leanest and the strongest I've ever been. Usually when I cut down in weight, I tend to lose a little bit of strength. And nope, I haven't lost a single ounce of my strength whatsoever when it came down to this summertime cut. I've lost no strength whatsoever. All I've just been doing is I lowered my calories. I drink maybe 1 more Celsius during the daytime, and I up my weight in the maces and the clubs. And you'll be surprised just by how much fat you'll lose. And most of it not really being fat, a lot of it being that water weight, but there's no faster way to lose that water weight than swinging this shit around for an hour.
And
the amount of sweat. Oh, it's fun. It's so fucking, once you get it down, it is so fun.
Running, you just see the same thing over and over again. It's fun.
It's very fun because there's over 300 different types of workouts that you can do with this, and involving cardiovascular, core, legs, shoulders, back, chest, arms, biceps, triceps, mind muscle connection, timing, balance, stabilization. Like trust me, the amount of work the amount of workouts you can create off of just using these simple tools, I'll be more than happy to show you if you're on Long Island or in watching this video and you want to learn a little bit more. But Don, man, I like I said before, I truly cannot appreciate more of this than everything that you have done for me over here. Like, this has been great to talk to you. One, again, I can't believe that how much time has already gone by with us talking, because it just feels like we just started. But
yeah. We got a lot to talk about.
Oh yeah,
we got a lot to do.
Yeah, we got a lot to do. There's a lot to work on, and there's more to promote out there, and there's just bigger things definitely to come. So with that being said, is there anything you would like to say? One last message? Anything you want to promote as far as comes down to Adex, when it comes to Mace Fit, strength training games, anything else like that you want to promote?
Well, the Vintage Strength Games are coming up in Orlando. It's on July 2nd, Orlando, Florida. It's going to be at what used to be called the Europa Bodybuilding Festival, or Sports Festival now. I think it's the UBU now. So it's kind of a big venue for us. Well, for the promoters for the game. I was going to say for the Mace athletes. I usually bring a couple athletes to that train at. We call our gym, where my wife's gym is called Barracuda Fitness, but we call it House of Monsters when it's Mace training time. So the guys swing big over there. I was leaned out, to put it in an example, I leaned down to 167 pounds to be able to compete, and I was going to swing a 40 at the competition. And I peaked 2 weeks early. I ended up swinging a 30. And I was swinging against a guy who was 230 pounds and another guy was 270 pounds. And they ran me so hard that I had to run off the platform in the last minute and throw up out in the parking lot.
Holy shit.
I mean, yeah. So, I mean, like, I was trying to go for coefficient and poundage, and I just string beamed myself out. I lost everything. I was like, I'm just going in there as Skeletor, and I'm going to swing this thing, and then I'm going to eat like 9 pizzas and drink 2 pitchers of beer. You know, when I'm done, because I was like starving. And
Holy
I
shit.
honestly, yeah, all I remember was Puerco Fuerte from you know, if you follow the Mace stuff, people know who Puerco Fuerte is. His wife was one of the judges, and she yells out, 4-minute mark. You know, we got 1 minute left, and then about 10 seconds after that, I had to put my mace down and run out the door. I mean, those guys ran me hard, man. They ran me hard.
Man, this is going to be an experience when I fucking have to go through this, because I know for a fact, like, I'm definitely going to compete one day. It may not be this July 2nd, but the goal is to definitely compete in at least 1, maybe 2 games, depending on how the first one goes. But
you're gonna, it's such an addiction. It really is. And to be up there on the platform, oh, dude, and especially if you got a good crowd there. I think at Lionel's gym we had like about 40 people in the audience, and everybody was going bananas because everybody's all riled up. So it was freaking great. You know, it's like have you ever been at kettlebell meet? It's kind of like the same thing, but not as passive. I think the mace people are a little nuttier than the kettlebell people.
Yeah, we look like fucking psychos swinging this shit.
Yeah, I mean, like they're like, you know. All I can remember was that in 2017 we were at the Arnold, and we did an event over there, like during the Arnold, and you know there was competition there. And one of the dudes was swinging so hard at the end, it sounded like he was barking. He was going woof, 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 on everything on, and it was just, I mean, like it was great, nuts. But yeah, that get involved in the mace competitions. They're a lot of fun. That's I'm gonna tell people.
I'm looking forward to it. I really am looking forward to that in the future, and it's definitely going to happen. I'm just looking forward to it when it does.
Low impact, high intensity. You're not going to get hurt doing it, you know. Yeah, you know, and you can go out there, you swing 15, 20 pounds, you know, you don't got to swing huge, you know, don't let the numbers scare you. Like there's different levels, so everybody can fit where they are, and everybody loves everybody, man. Dude, it's a high five.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to it.
It's so much fun. It really is. I think that's probably the best thing in the sport, because anybody who can swing, if you got a 360, you could do it.
And I definitely got a 360, and I'll be putting mine to the test, especially on Monday when I do my 30-minute. So I'm looking for it.
I want to see the vid.
It's gonna suck. It's gonna suck so fucking much.
No, it'll be.
I'm gonna have somebody recording me throughout the process and just checking in on me, basically seeing how I'm doing, and it's gonna be great. But what I'm probably gonna do is I might throw it on Instagram Live, and because my phone storage is already crying with how much videos I have, I might just throw it on Instagram Live and then post it through the Instagram that way, just because. If I do 30-minute video, like that's gonna be so much storage on my phone. So
text me before you do that, so I can put it up on my page too. I'll share it.
Sure, I definitely do that. I'll definitely text you over.
Text me, like give us like 10 minutes to get, like, you know, we might be out on the road or something, picking something up or whatever. We'll definitely put it on. We'll stream it to the TV while we're packing.
Oh God, but I'm more than happy to. But with that being said, Don, again, I can't appreciate your time more than ever. This has been a great conversation. I'm looking forward to the next one too, because this is definitely not gonna be our last. Like, I'm looking forward to the next time we do this, and to talk a little bit more about the success, and then hopefully by the time we do this again, I got that level 2 certification.
I'm sure you will. That's gonna be no problem for you.
Appreciate you guys. It's been Welshcare. All right, guys. So real quick, just wanted to say thank you for watching the episode. And if you can, please don't forget to click the like and subscribe button. It's free. It's a way you can support the channel. Like and subscribe. Help me out. Thank you very much. See you guys next time.